Hello, and welcome to my stream. I'll be sure to show some Bible verses in Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoso shall find one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Matthew 18, verse 10. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. Excuse me. In Isaiah 1:17, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. In Proverbs 28, verse 5, evil men understand not judgment. They that seek the Lord understand all things. And last but not least, I want to put up Colossians 3:21. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Hey there, good to see you. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate you. So Joel Brown, age 54, Tammy Brown, age 53, Jerry Flores, and Tamal Flore abused 8 of the 30 children. Okay, where show you the evidence behind what I am saying. Oh, let me go back there. Okay. These two Michigan couples are arrested for conspiring to adopt dozens of children from foster care before subjecting them to routine mental and physical abuse, received more than $1 million in tax-free money from the state. This was at dailymail.com, December the 8th, 2023, updated December 8th, 2023. Okay. These sorry pieces of crap. Look at these couples right here. You would not suspect them of doing what they did. The two Michigan couples have been charged in a scheme to adopt nearly 30 children whom they used to acquire more than $1 million in funding. Excuse me, I got the hiccups now. While covering up patterns of mental and physical abuse against them. Joel Brown, 54, and Tammy Brown, 53, and Jerry Flore, 58, and Tamal Flore, 56, were indicted on 36 child abuse charges. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel brought the charges after they found evidence that they had used 8 of the adopted children who had been in their care dating back to 2007. The Flores faced the most charges, with Tamal indicted on let me go back there. With Tamal indicted on 17 and Jerry on 11, including first-degree child abuse counts that could send them imprisoned for life. All 4 of the adopted parents faced charges ranging from conspiracy to commit child abuse and felon to report child abuse. And there it is. 2 Michigan couples have been charged in scheme to adopt another 30 children. It's right here. Joel Brown and Tammy Brown pictured, and Jerry Flores and Tamal Flore were indicted on 36 child abuse. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me try to see. Don't go to. I was going to do an advertisement. And gonna have to wait a second. Oh, you did? Hello there. Live in Michigan, and you heard about this? Awful. Yes, it is. Okay, so let me turn the audio.
The Browns and Flores conspired together to adopt dozens of children who were removed from previously abusive biological homes and subjected them to prolonged, routine, and systemic mental and physical abuse under the guise of discipline, and all for personal financial gain. They have been charged with the following: Joel Brown, a former child advocate with the Children's Services Agency, within the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, is facing a total of 5 criminal charges. 1 count of child abuse in the first degree, 1 count of conspiracy to commit child abuse in the second degree, 1 count of child abuse in the third degree, 1 count of interfering with a crime report, and 1 count of failure to report child abuse. Tammy Brown, his wife, is facing 3 criminal charges: 1 count of child abuse in the first degree, 1 count of criminal conspiracy to commit child abuse second degree, and 1 count of child abuse in the third degree. Tamal Flore faces 18 criminal charges: 6 counts of child abuse in the first degree, 1 count of child abuse first degree committed in the presence of another child, 1 count of conspiracy to commit child abuse in the second degree, 3 counts of child abuse in the second degree, and 6 counts of child abuse in the third degree, as well as 1 count of interfering with a crime report. Her husband, Jerry Flore, is charged with 12 criminal counts: 6 counts of child abuse in the first degree, 1 count of child abuse in the first degree committed in the presence of another child, 1 count of conspiracy to commit child abuse in the second degree, 3 counts of child abuse in the second degree, and 1 count of interfering with a crime report. Between the Brown and Flore families, nearly 30 children have been placed under their care either through fostering or adoption. And these charges stem from the documented mental and physical abuse of 8 of those adopted children. These charges for the abuse of 8 victims represent the offenses we have found that have not exceeded the statute of limitations, but not necessarily the totality of abuse victims in these homes, to the best of our understanding. This case was initially referred to the Clinton County Sheriff's Department by Child Protective Services after they received a complaint regarding suspected child abuse. Charges were later initiated by the Clinton County Prosecutor's Office, and following a preliminary exam, those previous charges against Tammy Brown and Joel Brown were dismissed, and the charges against Tamal Flore and Jerry Flore were reduced. The Department of Attorney General worked with the Clinton County Prosecutor's Office to take over the investigation earlier this year, and as a result, any outstanding charges against the defendants were subsequently dropped so that the Department of Attorney General could renew the investigation. With that said, I think it's important to note that we have erected a conflict wall between our prosecutors on the criminal matter and our attorneys who have a duty to represent the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, we cannot deny that the initial investigation needed more work, and the initial CPS investigation could have had better documentation and more accurate notes. Those CPS summaries of early interviews were copied into the police reports, making those reports not completely factually accurate as well. However, those inaccuracies are largely argumentative. So, for example, the vast majority of the inaccuracies are just word choice changes that do not affect the actual disclosures of abuse or the substance of the case. One such example was whether an item that was used to strike a child repeatedly was a decorative boat oar or a wooden paddle. Whatever one calls that item, it doesn't change the fact that a wooden item was used to inflict physical abuse. So that's one example.
Well, that's something else. It is very sickening. Yeah, they were going with them doing that. I hope that they go ahead and get them for all the cases because I bet they went ahead and did the rest some of the other kids too. But I think the 8 that they were talking about, the statute of limitations has not run out. I think that they should still have to pay for what they did in the past, regardless. And to know that the guy was with Child Protective Services supposed to be in the best interest of the child. Pretty bad here. Pretty sickening. You sorry pieces of crap. You knew where you could go like this, and you're supposed to help these children. You were supposed to help. You're supposed to give these kids support, the love, the nurturing, to show that they were safe. And you know the bad thing is, we don't know what kind of heck that these kids had before they even got with these people that put them in the system in the first place. And they go and they victimize them and destroy their mentality. This is horrific. And it makes me wonder who else was helping cover up some of the information as well, since he did work with CPS. Yes. And I hope that they get these couples and make them pay the rest of their life. They became a millionaire doing what they did. Instead of being grateful for getting the money or whatever, and helping these kids out because they had more than enough money for them to support them. to treat them good. Why are they doing that? Why did they do that? These kids did not deserve it. This is horrific, and I think we ought to go back to the time when the Bible, like it said, it's better to tie a millstone around your neck and throw yourself in the depths of the sea than it is to harm one of these little ones. Yes, they are. They're working evil. These poor kids were probably already tortured and scared as it was before they even went into that. And at first, they had to probably gain the child's trust, of course, just to hurt him again. You would think by how you can look at them and everything, and it's shocking to know. It looked like a healthy couple. So rich folks here, they must have money. Yeah, they groom the children. Makes me wonder if there's other sinister things that's happened as well that we just don't know about yet. You know what I'm saying there, y'all? Yeah, it is horrific. I wonder if it was done that way, you know? How could you be with Child Protective Services that's supposed to protect the children, best interest of the children? How could you do this kind of thing knowing what these kids already had been through? Let's see what else we got here? Energy stuff nearly. See what else I can find right here. So now, let me show you this little tidbit. Share the screen here. Yeah, exactly. So it said here, where the children respond to parents' abuse allegations. In Lansing, Michigan, two couples for DeWitt have been accused of child abuse by the state attorney general's office, but now some of the adopted children are calling the charges bogus. Of course, there's some of them, like with my family, they're calling it bogus on what had happened to me as well. They call it bogus. They protect. It said not all the 30 had been abused, so how do they know what had really happened to these other kids? An investigation has been underway for several years to get to this point, but six new reporters got the chance to sit down with three of the children adopted by Jerry and Tamal Flore, and they have a very different side of the story. The children, who are now adults, told our team that allegations of their parents abusing them physically and emotionally came as a shock. The charges were dropped back in April. My first response was just shock, like, what is going on? Said Chamber Brown, who was adopted by the Flores at 7 years old. And then I think it's turned into anger just because the past 2.5 years has been difficult for the family. Jerry and Tamal Flore are once again facing multiple counts of child abuse. So, like a movie, Brown said, you hear that parents might go to prison, and it's like, why? They're outstanding parents. But that's what my family says about my evil stepmom that held me down and but they're really good parents. Whatever. Brown says growing up, her children was a positive experience. The Flores home has been just a really healing place, Brown said, full of just lots of opportunities and traveling. I mean, yeah, I had a wonderful life. Saban Flores, who was also adopted by the family at 5 days old, says the only trauma he's ever faced is during this 3-year investigation. Who's going to hold the prosecutors and attorney general and CPS accountable? Flores said, and said that Monday Attorney General Dana Nesso announced her office was picking up the case against the Flores. Nesso's Tammy Brown and Joel Brown, who worked for Child Protective Services, helped cover up the abuse for several years. The state believes that the Browns and Flores conspired together to adopt dozens of children and then subjected them to prolonged routine and systemic mental and physical abuse under the guise of discipline. She also alleged both couples used the foster kids to make at least $1 million from the state. The Flores children remember extravagant gifts growing up. Think about the grocery bill. Think about the birthday gifts, the Christmas gifts. My parents bought Chamber, my sister a car, Ria a car, Braden a car, Josh a car, me at least 2 cars. When they're throwing out numbers like that, it's embarrassing how they're saying my parents stole taxpayer dollars. That was taxpayers' money. It didn't come from regular people. Saban and Chambers say they hope the truth comes out sooner rather than later. I haven't had any conversation with police officers or an investigator in over 2.5 years, Flores said. I'd love to see more eyes on this for the sake of justice for my parents and the Browns. The Attorney General's office responded to both children's claims today. They say they are confident in their findings based on interviews with 10 of the Flores children. See, 10 of them, they're confident that these other kids have been abused. Arrest warrants have been processed for all 4 defendants who have until Friday to turn themselves in. What y'all think of that? That's what they go and try to. Let's see, base combined. See, it goes like this. It just goes on and on and on. See, some of the kids will defend their parents. Some of them would do it, but just because some of them were not abused does not mean it did not happen to the others. Just because it did not happen to, like they did 30 children, y'all? Who in their right mind would adopt 30 of them? That's got to be money. Nothing else. And maybe they think that, okay, this person's got these kind of issues. And now these other siblings, what is it, 20 against 10? 20 of these siblings against these 10. That's horrific. They can see them out in public anytime and badger these kids, which is not good. I'm sure that they got the evidence behind it if they said that they are confident with their case. I'm sure that they got proof that this has been done. That's what I so hate about people that try to be self righteous and say, oh, it couldn't have happened. Innocent. Why are you so worried about? Did you notice that she said, oh, they bought that car, that person a car, and that person a car? It ain't about the car, y'all. It's about how you treat the children. It ain't about buying them extravagant gifts. It's about spending quality time, being there for them, being a shoulder to lean on, holding them when they cry, moving them in the direction they need to go into emotionally. them learning and having confidence in their decisions, them knowing they deserve to be loved and cherished and not beat down. So let's remember to pray for these children that are affected. So I already know how it's going to go because I'm already going through that with my own family, um, where I get badgered anytime if they know if and they're around me. Y'all check some of the videos where I have been interviewed by Miss Texas. She did an interview on me. I have a brother on there that said it's all lies. He even threatened to get a lawyer against me, y'all. In the past, he's even wrote at Facebook that he'll find all my friends that support me on standing up, and he'll find them and beat them all up. And him saying that, you know what that shows? That shows his violence. That shows what kind of person he is himself. That he's a violence as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But let's remember to keep these children in our thoughts and prayers. If y'all hear somebody's story and y'all hear a family member saying, well, that person's lying about it, don't just go and say that the kid is lying. Yeah, there's some incidences where a kid will lie, but in generally, the majority of the time, it don't happen. Get sick. Why are you causing more problems for a child that is getting beat? Do y'all not know by turning your back on that child, you might be their last hope of survival? By the grace of God, I survived. By the grace of God, well, I was beat, put up underneath the house, left to die in a coffin, in a wooden box. Somebody came and got me out of there, rescued me, took me to a hotel trying to doctor me. Like I said, the cops came 3 days later, took me back over there to that abuse house, even though they said, look, the scars, look at her injuries. This was done to her at that house. I said, yeah, but we got to take her back. So, y'all, what all is going on? When we're supposed to defend and protect the children, and we're just turning a blind eye. Don't get me wrong, at times I doubted it to myself to some people because I was like, this kid's so mean. Maybe he deserved, whatever, And it didn't take me long to realize, like, hey, that kid acting out, that kid is screaming out for help. That's why a child a lot of times will act out because it wants to be seen or heard. It needs help. Don't turn your back on these children. Don't turn your back on these different people that's going through something. Don't help cover up for these narcissists, these child abusers. Don't keep believing their lies. Yeah, you look at her and you say, "Oh man, that looks like a happy couple." The Richie, you could tell that she had her nails done and her beauty treatments and spas and tans and all that kind of stuff. But what about the kids? I don't care how well they look. I don't care how fancy of a house they got. I don't care how many cars that they bought this kid, how many cars they bought that kid. It don't matter what the heck they were bought as long as they were given shelter, clothes to wear, food, treated them with dignity and respect, given them medical care for what's needed, treat them with love and respect that they deserve. That will take you a lot further. Without further ado, I want to say thank you so much, and God bless y'all. Thank you.